Hey, hello, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
Good, I'm good. So today we're going to be doing a diagnostic evaluation. I'm going to be asking you a couple questions about your symptoms and how you've been feeling physically and mentally.
Okay.
During this process, I'm going to take some notes. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
All right, perfect. And we've already gone over our confidentiality rules and we've signed the form, so everything is set for that, correct?
Yes, they are.
Okay, perfect. So, before we begin, I would like to ask if you've ever attended counseling in the past.
No, I have not.
No, okay. Have you ever been to a psychiatrist or a psychologist in the past?
No.
Okay. Have you been prescribed any medications recently?
Not recently, no.
Okay. Do you have a history of any illnesses or injuries?
No injuries. I just had, no illnesses. I just had an injury 10 years ago, but it was more breaking my arm.
Okay, breaking your arm. When was the last time you've had a physical by a medical doctor?
About 18 months ago.
Okay, was everything okay?
Everything.
Anything outstanding?
Everything pretty much checked out normal.
Okay, good. Are you currently taking any prescription or over-the-counter medications?
Sometimes just some Tylenol and, I'll be honest, I have some friends who lend me some marijuana so I can go to sleep.
Okay, marijuana for sleep.
Yeah.
All right. So can you describe what led you to make the appointment today?
Well, now it's approaching a month, so about 4 weeks ago, I got let go from my job. I used to be a radio host, essentially a DJ, and they let me go just because of business standings, and that was my heart and soul. Woke up every single day for my job, and I just cannot get out of this depressed mood. It's very pervasive. It's throughout my entire day. I don't want to sleep. I don't want to speak to anyone, and it's just really gotten to me.
Okay. And when did this start? About 4 weeks ago?
About 4 weeks ago. Call it a month ago.
So those depressive symptoms were pretty quickly onset after being let go?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So what was going on in your life before that time?
Well, I was, I did have some romantic relationships, but those were never steady. So again, I really put a lot of emotional investment into my job. I've been with the company for about 8 years now with hopes to grow. And that's where I had my friends. That's where I had, pretty much my loved ones, it seems like, and I can't shake this up. If I'm being honest, not that I have any type of plan, but I say to myself, I prefer to die. This was I felt like a lot of who I was.
Okay, so you feel like you want to die?
I just don't see much of a point.
Okay. But you said you don't have a plan.
No.
Okay. So before you were doing well, and now after the event, you're not doing well.
Right.
Okay. Do you feel like there's anything right now that's out of your control?
Well, right now, my life, I don't know. I mean, sure, I had some money saved up, right? I mean, I'm no rich man, but I'm, I could eat if I wanted to eat. I could take a trip somewhere if I wanted to, but, out of control. I just feel like I'd have no direction, so it does feel out of control.
Okay. Are you taking any steps towards getting a replacement job?
No, not as much as one would recommend. It's just I don't want to start from the bottom again somewhere and just go through this again.
Mm-hmm. So going through the process again is preventing you. from taking next steps.
Yeah, absolutely. Blood, sweat, and tears for 8 years.
So how would you describe your current mood?
Awful. Uncomfortable. Like, I don't even want to live within my skin. You know, I get such bad thoughts. I feel like my self-worth was completely tied into that, and now that it's gone, I'm an entity floating around in space without any grounding.
Okay. Have you experienced any changes in sleep?
In sleep?
Mm-hmm.
Every day. I mean, I'm running off of energy drinks and good faith. You know what I mean? Hopefully.
So are you having trouble falling asleep, staying asleep, waking up too early?
It's mainly falling asleep. It's just, I know it sounds so weird. It's scary. I don't know.
It doesn't sound weird. So what's preventing you from sleeping? Thoughts running?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. The thoughts. It's just constant. You're not worth it. This is the reason why you got let go. It was probably because of this. You did this. Oh, remember that last time you did, you know what I mean? It's just, that's it. And by the time I know it, the sun's creeping up.
Okay. So are you sleeping during the day?
Naturally, you know what I mean? Just because I feel like my body is in like a hyper shock that it needs that sleep. But by the time I wake up, it's probably after me sleeping for 3 hours, 4 hours.
So really just 3 to 4 hours at a time?
Yes.
Okay. How's your appetite?
I mean, it's fine. I don't really, I skip meals, but because I'm distracted as opposed to consciously not eating, if that makes sense.
Distracted doing what?
Just thinking about, just ruminating, you know what I mean? Just like, ignoring my hunger pains, if you will.
Okay, so how many meals a day would you say you're eating?
2, with maybe a snack.
Have you noticed any weight changes?
I haven't really cared.
Okay, that's fine. And I know you haven't been getting good sleep, so I'm assuming you're experiencing a low energy level.
Mm-hmm. I mean, burst of energy with the drinks, but outside of our interview and moving on, I'll just hop on my couch.
Okay, so your only bursts of energy come when you have an energy drink?
Yes.
Okay, and how is your ability to concentrate?
Not great. Not great at all.
So would you say that you're able to function day to day, or is that depression getting in the way of that?
The depression is exactly in the way of everything.
Okay. Are you experiencing any mood swings?
Not, you know what? I don't really speak to many people. You're the first person I spoke to really about this, so I'm not being affected by anyone else, but within myself, no, it's mainly a feeling of low energy and a low mood, if you will.
A constant low mood, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So within the past 2 weeks, have you engaged in any reckless behaviors like spending, sexual indiscretion, substance abuse?
No, not really, to be honest. I know some people would with that bottle, but I was never much of a drinker. Like I said, even the marijuana, it's just much more of medicinal and, synonymous with like a Dayquil. I used to be that guy that gets nervous to take Robitussin,
Okay. So, I know we've touched on this, but I would like you to talk more about you having thoughts that your life may not be worth living anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Are these constant thoughts? How often are they occurring?
I mean, it's pretty much every day. I'll say that if we're going, obviously, by the past month, most days it's look at you, you're not going to be able to get another job again. What's the point of doing this? What's the point of doing that? If I don't think that, it's still, oh, you know what I mean? It's still, like, maybe I won't want to kill myself, but it's just more about, like, at least you're going to, live as an old man alone kind of thing. Like, they're never pleasant thoughts. Nothing's really comforting. Like, I'm not finding really any pleasure in anything,
Okay, and what's preventing you from acting on those thoughts?
It's a great question, right?
Mm-hmm.
I suppose that I knew who I was when I was with my company,
Mm-hmm.
and that guy was so capable of handling so much, so many various adversities and challenges, and so I guess what's keeping me is knowing that person might still exist.
Okay. And what about in terms of hurting other people? Have you had any thoughts of that?
No.
Okay. Would you say you're a nervous person or are experiencing nerves at a higher rate now than before?
I generally wouldn't be a nervous person, but I found myself with much more anxiety, yeah, for sure. Within the past month, just nervous. I think you said it.
Okay, so have you ever felt like you can't breathe, that your heart is palpitating, or like you're gonna have a heart attack?
Yeah, I have had that, and then it just leads to a lot of crying, a lot of self-pitying.
And what is preceding those events? What happens before that?
The imprisonment of my mind. I'm just constantly in my head about all of it.
Okay. Do you have any intense fears or particular things that causes a problem in your life?
Well, this, not having my job, is the most fearful thing, and I think that's what it was, right? I was so attached to this thing being my world. It's synonymous with a lover, right? Having a significant other, and then after 8 years, that's it, cutting ties. It's just like I realized I didn't know who I was without this entity.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Are you afraid of being in public situations?
No, I'm just more disinterested.
Okay. So are there any things you're afraid to do or places you're afraid to go?
No, not really.
Okay. In general, then, do you worry excessively about the events in your life?
In general, no, but since me being let go, absolutely.
Okay. Would you say you've experienced any traumatic events that are plaguing you with any horrific memories?
No, just this. Again,
Job.
This was probably one of the more traumatic ones.
Okay. Since this, has your mind played any tricks on you, such as not being able to remember things or feeling like you were outside of your body?
I remember one night feeling very, I kept on describing it to myself as ethereal, right? Like almost alien, outside of myself. I was wondering if I was high, but I think it was also because I was coming from a really hard cry, and mentally, emotionally drained at that moment, if that makes sense.
Okay. Have you ever had any unusual experiences, like hearing voices or seeing things that other people don't hear or see?
No.
Okay. Do people say you have any really strange ideas?
Strange ideas? No. I used to be fun and creative with my work, but nothing what someone would call abnormal, I think.
Okay. So how has your memory been serving you?
It's fine. It's okay. I definitely could remember what my boss said to me verbatim.
Okay. And how much alcohol do you drink? I know you said you don't drink much.
I'm, I rarely drink. I mean, occasionally, literally occasion, meaning like a birthday or something like that, a company gathering. But I'm not a drinker.
Okay. Do you use tobacco?
No, back in
Alright.
college, but I quit that about 10 years ago.
So we're gonna shift here a little bit. How would you describe yourself as a person?
Right now,
Right now or in general, or both if you'd like.
okay. Right now, I see myself as pretty useless. I'll be honest. But there was a person who was very, very outgoing, spontaneous, fun, caring.
But you're not feeling familiar to that person right now?
Yeah, I don't know who that guy is anymore.
How would you describe your relationships with others overall?
They were fine, but right now I'm starting to see who really cares about me, and I haven't gotten any phone calls.
Okay. So before this, was it important for you to be noticed by others or to be the center of attention?
Important, I suppose. Yes, because I was relied upon a lot to really be that head creative host. So, yeah, it was important.
Okay. Would others say that you are grandiose or that you don't consider other people's feelings?
I don't think so.
Do you dream of being powerful and having a lot of money?
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, I hope a lot of people do as well.
Okay. Do you question your self-image?
Now, absolutely.
Before being let go of this job?
No, I'm pretty confident of who I am,
Okay. Have you ever intentionally hurt or injured yourself?
Not intentionally, no.
Okay. So no cutting or attempts of suicide?
No.
Okay. Do you ever feel abandoned or rejected by others?
Yeah, now, for sure.
Okay. Do you avoid social situations because you feel inadequate?
I would say that describes me now. I don't want to go out there because I don't believe I deserve to.
Okay. Has anybody noticed that your movement is noticeably quick or jumpy?
No, not that.
Okay. And has anybody noticed that your movement has been noticeably slow or delayed?
No.
Have you experienced any feelings of guilt or unworthiness?
Well, definitely the unworthiness, and it was pretty much at the beginning when I found out, being let go, it just completely diminished my self-worth, self-esteem as well.
Okay. Do you feel generally tense or on edge?
Lately, yes, for sure. Lots of tension. I feel like my back is like a rock,
Mm-hmm. Okay. And when you are experiencing your depressing thoughts and ruminating, do you find that these are unwanted thoughts that you're having?
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. Okay. I want them nowhere. That's why I need you. I want them nowhere in my mind.
So, is there any specific event or behavior that brings you any spark of joy at all at this moment?
I just try to remember how good I was at the job, and just thinking like, hey, maybe one day, maybe one day again. It's just tough for me to even think about that being a possibility, but I really loved my job.
Okay. Do you find that your depression is particularly worse at any part of the day?
Yeah, for sure. I would say at night, kind of just laying awake, thinking about everything, talk about rumination, pretty much every night.
Okay. And do you find that you're waking up earlier than normal?
No, not specifically.
Okay. Now we're going to shift to a little bit of your history. Where did you go to college?
Oh, I went to a local community college back at home, but no, that never really took it seriously.
Okay. And tell me about your family.
Yeah, not very close. Everybody's pretty much scattered around. I feel like the only time we communicate is a generic happy birthday, kind of like a Merry Christmas sort of thing, but I mean, that's pretty much it.
Okay. How many siblings do you have?
I do have two older brothers and a younger sister.
Okay. And what do your older brothers do for work?
Oh, that's a great question. I mean, I remember the oldest is I know that he was getting in the nursing field, becoming a medical within the medical field, but we just don't really speak that much. I'm not on social media. I know the other brother, I know he was a school teacher, that I know for sure. And then my little sister is still getting her master's.
Okay. So, with whom do you have the best relationship in your family?
I would say the middle brother. They're both older than me, but the second one, if you will, the school teacher, he was just always very agreeable, very happy-go-lucky. It was easy to please him. But again, best relationship is a stretch. There's not really any, to be honest.
And do you speak with your parents?
Yeah, but not really. We all, again, there's not really ill will. It's just when we were all living together, it was pretty much seemingly a bunch of individuals in a place as opposed to like a really tight knit family.
Okay. What is the earliest memory you can recall at this point in time?
One of my favorite stories, I always say, when people ask me how I got into that business, I distinctly remember getting a CD player for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was, to me, again, at the time, that was just one of the best things. And I was 6, too, so there's blurs for when I was younger than that, maybe pre-K, kindergarten kind of thing, but one that I can confidently kind of recall detail. It was a nice silver and blue CD player. To be honest, I don't even remember the songs I was listening to. I was probably listening to any type of genre just so I could listen to music,
Yeah. So, growing up and when you were in school, did you have a lot of friends?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I definitely went to a lot of parties. Hey, I was the guy. You know what I mean? I was the guy. Like, you got to make sure he's there. You got to make sure that he's playing his music, playing all, kind of getting the party started. So yeah, for sure, had lots of friends.
Okay. And tell me about your culture.
I was raised Christian. Definitely went to church growing up. And I still believe, but I would consider myself a bit more, not as devout as last time I checked. I think my parents are actually a lot participating in the church community, so it's certainly not as devout as them, but a little Christian, and we are Native American. Native American. I believe there's slight Middle Eastern in there last time they checked, but as far as culture, it's pretty much American.
Okay. Did you have any friends going to church growing up?
School friends, right? School friends, but nobody that I actually keep in contact with now.
Okay, so these school friends, you don't speak to them anymore either?
Yeah, not anymore, really.
So how much would you say you rely on others to make your decisions?
Decisions. No. I don't really rely on people to make my own decisions, no. So not really.
Are you afraid of being able to take care of yourself?
No, I could take care of myself. I have been.
Okay, good. How important to you is orderliness, perfection, and control?
Very. I mean,
Very.
extremely. I think that's what it is. I feel like I don't have a grip on my life anymore. I have no order. I have no reason.
Okay. And does perfectionism get in the way of you finishing tasks?
I think so, yes.
Okay. What type of tasks? Give me an example.
See, pardon me because I'm thinking before this month to now, but now I'm, I'm not doing much at all. So it's hard for me to chase that perfectionism. But when I was at my job, I was always that type of person to just want to do it 100%, not have anything disturb me, really have it, I want to make people proud. I don't want to disappoint anyone.
Okay. And now you feel like you are disappointed?
Absolutely. I think that's the reason why I was fired.
Mm-hmm.
Beyond the BS that they told me.
Okay. And do you have any plans to take any next steps in terms of the situation?
What do you mean by that?
To apply for new jobs or go back, try to figure out what's going on with your company?
I mean, it's been a month. You would have thought I would have gone anything beyond I know they had like an exit email that they sent, but that was more company. That wasn't a personal thing. I haven't gotten anything from them. I don't expect to. And moving forward, I'm at a point right now that before I make any hasty decisions, I need to see someone. I need help.
Okay. Well, I think it's definitely a strength that you're able to recognize that and that you came here today.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that this is something that we'll definitely be able to work through.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Okay. Is there anything else that you wanted to get off your chest before we end our session today?
Not exactly. I think everything was pretty clear. I know things might come up. I just, I know you're only one person, but I'm not getting any sleep. I don't love who I am anymore. This is month 1 of me feeling this way. I don't know what month 2 is going to bring, so I'm scared. So I hope to hear back from you, and I hope that we could continue something sooner than later.
Absolutely. I did want to mention one more thing, or ask about one more thing, since you did say I was only one person. Do you have other people that you can reach out to in your life right now?
No, I don't.
No?
I don't have it. My family, we don't keep in touch, and then physically they're scattered around the U.S. It's really hard, and that's why I gave everything to my job.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll definitely be able to follow up soon and get this figured out. And I'm looking forward to speaking with you again.
As am I. Thank you so much.